Good afternoon, and thank you again for joining me. So I've already done a video on mixing my paints with water. I just would like to show you in that video I made up a chart, okay, so to do a little drip test. So if you can see here, so when you do the drip test, all this shaded bit, if your paint falls between these two lines, that's for a Dutch pour. If it falls between these two lines here, then that's for your ring pours and swipes and whatnot. Okay, if you're doing a bloom, then it would pretty much stop just there, okay, because it's a lot thicker, but that's another day. So what I did is I've made up this template, then I photocopied quite a few onto one page, then I cut them out. Just to have them handy, okay, and then that's when I will get one, and whenever I make up some paints, I'll just try it on the drip test before I do a painting. I don't always do it, I tend to do it more but when I mix my paints with water, because I'm not used to the consistencies yet. But when I make it up with make up my paints with Floetrol and water, I really don't use this because it's the measurements are correct enough. I maybe should with the different, I usually use Amsterdam, so if I'd probably use this if I didn't use Amsterdam paints, because some paints it'll be thicker and some will be runny, so then I'd have to adjust it. But making up my paints the way I do using Amsterdam, I don't use the chart. Okay, so that's just a little handy thing that I use. Okay, so I'll put that over here. So I will link the video up the top here. Would be the video that I mix my paints with water. Okay, this video here today we're mixing paint and Floetrol and water. Okay, so you'll need your scale, you would need a strainer. I have a clear cup for my base. My paints though, my colours, I was using just the Wilton bottles, but I get these from America, from Lolly Beffy, and they're a good size. So I mix my paints up and my Floetrol straight in here and give it a shake. Okay, I've got my distilled water. My base I make up straight in this bottle. These bottles you get from Big W. Okay, so this is a 1 litre bottle. So this has had white in it before. I've cleaned it out. Usually I won't clean them out, but I'm using a different base paint, so I'm using my Amsterdam. So I'll be using Amsterdam titanium white to mix my base, and then I'll be doing a painting next video, trying out my new base white. To make it easier when I'm mixing my paints, I put some of the distilled water in one of these bottles. It's just easier to adjust the consistency, just being able to squeeze water in the bottles. So the Floetrol that I use is excuse me, I use the American Flood Floetrol, only because the Australian Floetrol, even though I do live in Australia, the Australian Floetrol puts too many cells in. I do like the cells sometimes. I do mix Australian Floetrol with my white and my black, not the base colours but the extra colours in the bottles for when I'm doing a painting, just to get those extra cells. All my other paints, it's mixed with the American Floetrol. I actually buy the American Floetrol from paint shops. So what else? And with my Australian Floetrol, I've just buy the really small bottle because I don't use it very much. Okay, so that's what I like to use, is the American one. So I've got my cup here, and I just got a little strainer from Big W. So I'm just going to lean that on there. So I'm just going to give this a little bit of a shake. Oops. Give this a little bit of shake. Okay. And I'm just going to strain my Floetrol into my cup. Okay, Floetrol does get lumps in it. I don't stockpile my Floetrol. Every time I finish a bottle, I'll go and buy another bottle. And I'm just straining that. So if you can see, there's little clumps in there, which I really don't want in my paint. Okay. So I'm going to get a second cup, because I use quite a bit of Floetrol to make up the base colour. So I'll fill up a second cup. And let that strain. So as you can see, there's more gunk in there, which is why we use a strainer. Okay, I'm going to get my scale. Get my larger bottle, and I'm going to stick my bottle on my scale. I'm just going to tilt that so you can see, and I'm just going to go. Now I measure mine on grams. Okay, so I do 1 part paint, 2 parts Floetrol. Okay, so I'm just going to pour it straight in the top here. So we have, because I'm doing a base, I'm doing 320 grams of Floetrol. Just keep pouring. That's 2. Whoop, 308, 1920. Okay, so that's 320, and I'll just empty the rest in here. Okay, so that is 320 grams of Floetrol. So then we're going to put it back to 0 again, and I'm going to get my Amsterdam paint. Okay, get my Amsterdam paint. Well, 0. So come on. Okay, so I'm going to open this up, and I want 160 of the titanium white. Isn't that beautiful? Can you see that? It's so pretty, so soft and silky. Okay. So I'm just going to move that up so you can see. So what did I say? 160. Okay, what have I got? 51. Makes it easy when it's in a squeeze tube instead of doing it this way. It's so buttery, creamy, actually, like cream. It's beautiful. Okay, what are we after? 110. Nearly there. 130. 140, 154, 159. That should about do it. 165. Okay, we'll go 165. Okay, I'll put my lid back on. Okay. So next I am going to take that off, and I'm just going to put my water bottle here, or my cup that had the excess Floetrol in it. Let's get rid of that. Yeah, Mum. Okay, I'm just going to put that on here. And it's on 0, and I want 120 water. Okay, so 120. Okay, 120. Okay, 121 water. Okay. So yes, I've got it in my Floetrol cup, but there's Floetrol in here anyway. Okay, so we'll just move that to one side, and I'm just going to put a little bit in, probably put half of it in. Scrape the rest of this paint off into the bottle. Then I'm going to put my lid on, and I'm going to give it a really, really good shake. Okay. Okay, so what we're going to do, like I said before, I only put half the water in because I haven't made up this Amsterdam base before. It seems to be a bit thinner, like the consistency of the paint seems to be a bit thinner than like the tubes. Okay, so I've given it a really good shake, and I'm just going to test it on my chart. So I'm just going to put a dollop on here. Okay, and then we're going to turn it around and hold it up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's only just hit the line. Okay, So what we're going to do is I might just put the rest in. Put the rest of it in. Give it a really good shake again, because it's going to sit for a little while. If I was going to use it straight away, I would have just left it at that, because it's just touched that line. So I've just put the rest in, give it a shake. And just take this lid off. It does take a little while to shake it up, but I don't want to waste this paint, so I'm going to put it back in the bottle. So I've just taken it off my chart and put it back in the bottle. I'll just wipe that down just to keep it clean. Okay, so I'll just shake this just a little bit more. It does take a bit of time to get it mixed. Then we're just going to give this a go again. So we're just going to put our dollop on here. Okay. Well, I've already started moving. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. So it's actually in between these two lines. So to me, that's good. Okay. So there we go. That's my base all done up for a pour. And what I'm going to be doing is, like I do with all my other bottles, I'm going to be doing labels and just putting a label on the bottom here. Okay. So what this used to have is, it used to have a label on down the bottom here, Artist Loft, but I no longer use Artist Loft, so I'll be using the Amsterdam titanium. Okay, so that is my base. So just to recap, my base, because I make it up in this larger bottle, I do 320 grams Floetrol, 160 paint, and 120 water, and give it a really good shake. Okay, so the next one we're going to do is we're going to do it straight in this bottle. So we're going to put the bottle on here. We're going to be mixing up this Liquitex Basics medium magenta. So last time I did it with water, this time I'm going to do it with Floetrol. So we're going to put this on 0. Okay. I might put my Floetrol in first. So I'm going to do 80 Floetrol. $7.80. Okay, so that's 80 Floetrol. Then we're going to put it on 0 again, and I'm going to do 40 paint. Okay. Okay, I have my 40 paint and I just need 30 water. So let's go back to 0 and we'll do 30 water. dirty water. We put the lid back on and we shake it. So give this a good shake. Okay, so this one, oh, let me just show you. So that is not mixed with anything. That shade is, which is very much similar, this is mixed with water. So this is the not mixed with anything, that's mixed with water, and then that one is mixed with Floetrol. So there's not much of a difference. Okay, so water one over there. Okay, so this bottle here is 80 grams Floetrol, 40 grams paint, 30 grams water. Okay, so we can do a test on here if you'd like. So put it on here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's just touched down the bottom there. Okay, so that will settle. I'll just keep this for a little while. It will settle, it'll thicken up a bit. It still needs a little bit of a shake. You can shake these for ages, and I will put a label on here as well. Okay, so that is that one. So what other one will we do? So we will mix one of these little tubes. So put it on 0 again. So I just open this up. So this little tube, because it's 18 mil. So in other words, 18 grams. Is it 18 grams? Yep. Plus you've got to take into account that. So 18 grams. So what we're going to do is 38 Floetrol. So let's put it on 0. 0. So 38 grams Floetrol. I don't think you can see the, so 38 . Okay, it's 38 grams Floetrol. Okay, so for this small tube, that's 18 mil, which is like 18 grams. I've put 38 grams Floetrol. This we don't need to measure. We know this is going to be 18, and we will just put 13 grams water. 13. So 0. Right, that's 13 grams of water. Okay, so the only thing left to do is put the tube in. So we're going to squish. We already know this is 18, so we're just going to put all of it in here. So squish as much as you can out of the tube. And turn it around and do the other side. Okay, is that the right lid? Yep. We'll just put that lid on and give it a mix. So it needs to be mixed more because you can see the Floetrol on the bottom. It's a bit whitish down there. Oops. Okay, so to recap, this is my base paint, which I used the Amsterdam titanium white. So my base, I use 320 grams Floetrol, 160 grams of paint and 120 grams of water, and I store it in this bottle, 1 litre bottle. So my next one is my Liquitex Basics tube paint. So the proportions of that to fit into this Lolly Veffy bottle is I do 80 grams Floetrol, 40 grams paint and 30 grams water. The last one, because I sometimes will buy these tiny tubes, these are 18 grams, so I do 38 grams Floetrol, 18 grams of paint, which is exactly everything that's in here, and 13 grams of water. So these are all made up. These are usually the different sizes that I work with. When your paints sit for a little bit on the shelf, I just give it a good shake, you know, a few hours before I'm going to use it. And if it's a little bit thick, just add more water. I've had paint sitting there for about 3 months and I still use it. Sometimes they thicken up a bit, just give it a really good shake and add more water if you need to. The only thing I have left to do is I like to label. I like to do up labels. So I will label all my bottles, like the clear labels. So these ones have the labels on them. So will label my bottles with the brand. So this one will have Liquitex Basics and the shade of the paint. What else is there? I think that's all I needed to show you. Definitely strain your Floetrol because you get that gunk in here. Some people like the paintings that are done or with the Australian Floetrol. I personally prefer the American Floetrol and only use the Australian Floetrol in my black and white colours, not my base, my colours. I think that is all I have to tell you. So these little things I find handy when I'm making up my colours. So like I said, if it falls between these two gaps, that's the consistency for a Dutch pour. If it's between here, then it's consistency for a ring pour or a swipe, and if it's further up near the top up here, then it's more the consistency for a what's it called? I can't think of it now because I don't do them. Blooms. But I will learn to do a bloom. I haven't done a bloom yet, but I will. So if you have any questions, please either email me or comment below. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please subscribe, press like, definitely comment. If you would like to share the video, please share. Any interaction you do on my channel just helps it to be shown to a wider reach of people. So I will see you again soon for another pour. Thank you for watching.